Hi guys, welcome to the channel. It's Matt at Priory. So today we have got a rather bright giant Fathom in. So the customers brought this in, loads of play in the bottom bracket, up and down, left and right. The gears are out, needs indexing, possibly a cable, brakes squealing. You can see there's nothing left on them, so they won't replace them. But we're going to be talking about the bottom bracket today. It's a press fit bottom bracket. It's actually FSA Cranks, which is a 24mm spindle, so it shares the same sort of system as Shimano. What's on it at the moment, I think, it is an FSA bottom bracket, but we are going to replace it with the Shimano one. They're more readily available, we hold them in stock, similar kind of thing really. So yeah, let's get into it guys. Okay, so like I said, it's a press fit bottom bracket on here, FSA Cranks, so which is a 24mm spindle. So first of all, we're going to have to pull the crank off. What we're going to need is a 10mm hex wrench, self-extracting, so there's no crank puller or anything like that needed. What we do, if you just look on the smaller screen, you can see there's two bolts on this. There's the cap that sits on the outside, and then there's the inner bolt. We don't want to be touching the outside cap. There's like pin spanner holes in there. That remains on there all the time. Don't remove that, it doesn't need to be removed. What essentially happens is when you're undoing the bolt on the inside, it's pushing up against that cap and extracting the crank off the shaft. So you don't want to be touching that, that's not the right one. So all we've got to do, get our 10mm in here. Now, it will feel extremely tight to start with, especially SRAM cranks, they can be super tight. You might need to use a big breaker bar. Hopefully this one won't be too bad, but let's get it off and try to get a brace up against the pedal, give it a pull. That is pretty tight. Here we go. So what you'll feel like is it'll go really tight and it'll like give. Don't worry if it does give like that, you've not broken anything. All you've kind of done is pulled the bolt itself out of the spindle. It'll start going again and you'll feel it kind of get tight again as it presses up against that cap we spoke about. Just keep going past that. Like so, keep turning, keep going. Started getting very loose. There we go. Off comes the crank, easy as that. Every single different crankset uses different spacer configurations and things like that, so just keep an eye when you're taking them off, what kind of order they come off in. Looking at this one, we've got a little spacer here on the end, which is going on the drive side behind the crank, so we'll just remove that. Next up, we'll just knock the spindle out, it should just come out pretty easy. There we go. As you can see, this one, it doesn't look to have been changed in quite some time. It's filthy and rusty where the bearings have collapsed inside, so it definitely does need replacing. Yeah, pop that to there. Yeah, that bottom bracket is pretty rough. So, we've got the bottom bracket out, there's no more space on there, just take the caps off. What I would normally use for this, there's a Park Tool BBP AOS add-on set, something like that, which goes with the press. This is basically a number of rods and things like this. You pop that on the cap and you just press it out. It's really easy and nice to use. I don't think any of you guys are going to have something like this. It's quite an expensive bit of kit, so we're going to be a bit more medieval today and go with the which one's this one there? And it is, I don't know, it's the bottom bracket tool. So essentially all this is doing, you're sliding it into the bottom bracket itself, it engages behind the bearing and you're just tapping it out. Don't stress if you're having to hit this quite hard, it's not going to break anything. They are quite stuck in there at times, so you just got to, you know, give it a little bit of a few taps. Sometimes they come out quite nice and easy, but sometimes, more often than not, they're quite stuck in there. The only time I'd maybe be careful is if you've got a carbon frame. What it is on those, the shell in the bottom bracket is actually bonded into the frame, so just be careful with that, because you can maybe whack it and split the bond. Maybe take it to your LBS if you don't have a different type of press, and you know, let them take care of it. So, as I said, just slide the tool until it engages. You'll feel it click at the back. tight one because of the sleeve. There we go, we're in at that. So we've just gone to the back of the bearing. I'm just going to give it a tap out. See, it's starting to come. Just spin the back a little bit. You can see it's starting to come away now. Just slow it down. There we go, and she's out. So that's one side of the bottom bracket out. Very, very rough. There's, yeah, all the grease has gone out of that bottom bracket. It's going to feel horrendous. So again, same again with the other side. Apologies if the GoPro does shake a little bit. It's attached to the frame, so same again. Pull it through slowly and gently until it engages at the back of the bearing. It is a bit tricky with this one. Here we go, we're in. Okay, and we're just going to tap it out. There we go, we're out. Okay, there we go. Well, that's the other half of the bottom bracket. A bit stuck in there. So let's have a look at the cups themselves. Not the cups, the bottom bracket shell. It's pretty dirty in there, so we're going to give that a bit of a clean out. What we're using here is all muck-off stuff pretty much. We've got the dry degreaser that we'll be using today. This stuff's mega quick and really, really good stuff. So little spray in there, just let it dwell. Maybe sit for 5-10 seconds, it doesn't take long. Just give that a good clean out. Okay, let's get all the crap out of there. There we go. So we've got the bottom bracket out, time to pop it back in. What we're going to be using, a little bit of grease and a bottom bracket press. So start with just popping a little bit of grease into the shell, just like that, just to help it slide in there. Bit on the other side. What we're actually fitting in today, like I said, what came out was some kind of an FSA bottom bracket. Shimano is the same, and they're just loads more readily available. We carry these in stock, so much easier. What we're going to do, we've got the bottom bracket press. You get the appropriate drift. You can use, I've seen people use threaded bars and all sorts of things. Just don't hammer them in. Get some kind of a press because you'll get them nice and straight and you won't ruin your shell. To be fair, these bottom brackets are actually nylon plastic, so the chances of you damaging your bottom bracket shell are pretty minimal. So we pop this into the bottom bracket, onto the press, and all we do, slide this in, put the bushing or the drift on the other side to keep it straight, because obviously it's important to press these in nice and straight. There we go, just line it up. Let's take a bit of the tension. There we go. Okay, so we need an 8mm spanner for the end of this, an 8mm Allen key. Pop that in there and press it in. See, it's going in nice and smooth, nice and straight, all good. So that side's installed. Don't drive it right in there. Once you feel it bite, and then take the tension away, because you'll start ruining the bearings, pressing on them, and yeah, not good. So just slide your tool out. Okay. Let's get the other side out. This side's got the sleeve on it. This is there just to stop anything getting into the bottom bracket itself. It just keeps a bit of the crap out. You do get water and things like that come down the frame, so make sure you put that in there. So same again, that slides in from that side. Pop the drift in the other. Spin it round to take the tension off. Okay. Let's get our 8mm. And there we go, just gently press it in. Again, just keep going until you can feel it come to a stop. There we go, I'm happy at that. So take off the tension again, move the stop, and there we go, bottom bracket's installed. So we just need to pop the crankset back in. We're just going to give this a bit of a quick clean up. It is absolutely filthy and minging.
Bit of dry grease on there, a bit of wipe up. You're not going to get these immaculate, so I won't worry too much about it. They do get signs of wear, so yeah, let's get it nice and clean as best we can.
So the spindle's nice and clean. Let's reinsert into the bottom bracket. So just slide it in this side. Let's just give it a little bit of a tap with the mallet, just to help it go home. Just gently tap it in. There we go. Just check that's nice and free, it's not binding up or anything. So as I said, there was a spacer on the end of there. Let's give that a little bit of a clean up. That goes on there. And then finally, the crank itself. 10mm again. This can be a little bit tricky just to hold it into place. We're just going to pop the chain over the top there just so we can put it back on without breaking the chain. Make sure it's straight with the other crank. So there we go, that's fitting pretty easily. Turn that on. Now, these are normally torqued up to about 44 to 50-ish. So we'll get our torque wrench out. If you don't have a torque wrench, just get it nice and tight. Don't go mental. So we're set here to just under 50, that'll do. Crank that up. There we go. That's tight enough. We just need to pop the chain back on. No play at all in there anymore. Turning nice and smooth. Really, really good. Happy days. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There will be more stuff like this every week. Like I said, we're going to try and do a couple of videos if we can, depending how busy we are. Again, if there's anything you want to see, comment below. I have seen all your comments, guys, and I'm going to be working through them. But thank you, appreciate you watching. Thank you, guys. Oh, and don't forget, we've got the competition running. So I think as it stands, we're at about 130 subs. So we're getting there, guys. You know, let's get us up to 500. Someone will win the Fox jacket, which is a really cool prize. You know, all you've got to do is subscribe. Okay, thank you, guys. See you soon.